All right, so this is just a horrible thing to make anybody do. Now, I've done voiceovers and whatnot, and other stuff, I'm sure, for WhatCulture, but I started in like January 2016, so I thought, well, the best thing I should probably do is watch my first ever Ups and Downs, which I believe is from May 30th, 2016. I have watched this in the past. I think it's absolutely abysmal. But it's only 7 minutes as well, so they're like 20 minutes now. So somebody needs to shut up. That person would be me, but I'm watching it on my phone in case you're wondering what's he doing. I'm just going to hit play and straight away. Still wear that Bret Hart t-shirt today. A lot of people always say, Miller, get new clothes. Can't argue that. 5 years on, and I still wear it.
Good luck with that.
Oh my gosh, it's like deer in the headlights.
Which you should definitely go and check out.
I just look absolutely terrified and worried about the world.
Last night's Raw, where we see if the show had more good points than bad points.
I also look like I'm crumbling in on myself. I don't know what that means, but it's like there's so much fear in my face. Made a bull joke though. So it's good to know that I have, oh man, the old weird graphic thing as well. I forgot about that too. Give it down! What was that? That was like half a millisecond down. See? Everyone says, Simon, you're too positive. Not true. The very first thing I did on Ups and Downs, what was it for? It's Gold Dust and Our Truth. That's not fair, Simon. I think there was probably a little bit of, pandering's not the right word, but Gold Dust and Our Truth coming to the ring and singing about their own team name is the kind of goofiness that I would love. It is hard sometimes, you know, like, because you know sometimes you're going to get the crazies. Now, I'm always truthful to myself. If I believe it, I'm going to say it. But yeah, sometimes people go nuts. There we go, there's an up for New Day and Gallows and Anderson.
Why? Because an angle on this week's show has got to be considered one of the biggest Raw ups.
That's interesting. I don't think the Y series had been born yet, but I said it like I would say it.
Excited.
Maybe it was already in my head. But the hand movements are going though. Miller, you move your hands too much. When you say that, I'll do it more. I'm a child. I'm an immature child. I tell you, the thing is like, it sounds stupid as well, but you do find your own voice with this stuff. And obviously I script everything, so otherwise I'd forget where the hell I was. But I like to ad-lib as well, so I basically use my script as an overview. Here, I have just learnt it word for word. I'm just reciting it towards the camera.
To be in a car with Natty, because I'm 99% sure I'd be killed in a horrible accident when literally anything distracted her. I understand that WWE doesn't want
I made myself laugh. What moron! I don't know how much volume of the video you're going to hear. But yeah, Natalya gets distracted by everything and that's why she loses. So we can't really complain about distraction finishes. If I was annoyed about it in 2016, how can I still be annoyed about it in 2021? I'm the problem, I should have learned. But yeah, I don't want to get a car with Natalya in case she gets distracted and spins off the road and dies. Do tell a lot of jokes about death. I don't know why, maybe I'm secretly terrified
and how
of it.
important the brief... So that's an up. Following on from that trend, it was a delight to finally see Apollo Crews get some character development. Tyrannosaurus Rex thing again.
Really, you got to pause. Yeah, I mean, Apollo Crews, he must have debuted on that Raw as well. I don't recall Apollo Crews being around in 2015. I'm not on the main
veteran taking the peppy newcomer under his wing.
So it took 5 years for him to get
Sheamus's beat down last week. Raw opened with Shane and Stephanie selling the idea of SmackDown going live.
This is not in any order either. We're now talking about the opening. What are you doing, Simon?
Way too long and being incredibly awkward.
I don't know, maybe you don't. Maybe you do want it in a random all over the place thing. I wonder why I changed that.
On live TV. And two,
I think there was a little bit, because there's an Ups and Downs article as well, and I think I was so nervous to begin with, I think I used to use the article as like a rudder to steer me in the right way, and then eventually I was like, no, I don't want to do this because I don't agree. As we wouldn't do, would you? We're individuals, we're human beings, you're not going to agree with everything, of course not.
Although then, still, it's the down. Which tragically brings us to another down. I'm not sure what WWE is going for in this week's
next time anyone tells me I'm too
Reigns
positive, I'm going back to this one. You made me positive. Don't know what that means.
For start, even though his promo only lasted 8.9 seconds, and then Seth Rollins came out and just pretended to do things for the rest of the segment.
I think that a lot of this is not my actual thoughts.
He pretended he was
I think I was trying to have the thoughts of the internet.
He pretended he was
probably because a lot of people, if you'd seen the other video, people used to tell me to die.
The two essentially
like Rocky, like The Rock. So
JBL and
I was probably like, well, how do I stop people getting me to die?
thing
I just
came
gave
off
up
as
with that.
weird,
I was like, I don't want to do
nothing
this.
build to their Money in the
I
Bank
want to
match.
send
Maybe
love
WWE
and
were
cheer
afraid
out
of
into
giving
the
Rollins
world.
the upper hand.
There you go. See, I just
Quite
proved that
happy
the numbers
about
never count.
WWE
Because I just said the
can't
John
screw this
Cena
up,
Club AJ
Make
Styles
sure
thing is
you
so
check
good.
out
Who even
Scott's
cares about
column
the ups and the
every
downs?
week
I've always
over
said that.
on
No, it's always
WhatCulture.com.
maths.
And then just
It's
spend your
maths,
time reading
Miller.
all the other-
Wow, there we go. How time flies. My first, not my super duper first, but my first ups and downs. I'm all right with it. I'm all good with it. We learn, we grow, and we move forward. Again, as I've said before, and I'll say again, just thank you for sticking with me and with WhatCulture for all of this time. That's what means the most. That's what's humbling. That's what gets me out of bed every day. And let's do it for another 5 years, whatever the hell it is. And I'll be a 72-year-old man still up in those downs, because let's face it, Raw will absolutely still be going on.
Hello everybody, yes, going to react to my first ever video now. So a few things about this before I start. This is about like 2 years into my time at the company before they ever put me on camera, because I was not hired to be a presenter or a personality or anything like that. In fact, I desperately did not want to be a personality or a presenter or anything like that, because I was convinced that having to go on camera every day and be like alive and engaged and all of that would drive me absolutely mad. And well, here we are, some 4 years, 2 therapists and several different medications later. Now, I have not watched this yet, full disclosure, but I do know it is an advert for our magazines. Now, if you've never seen our magazines before, we used to make these lovely printed materials. They were like 120 pages, fully illustrated, beautifully written, all about wrestling, and my job was to make these, to design these, to make them as beautiful as we knew they could be. Now, obviously, we would advertise them on YouTube to try and drive some sales. Blampier would very kindly do all of those adverts, but I think this is like issue 5. It's in April 2017, and I think he was on holiday or he was away. He wasn't around, and we needed to do the advert, and I was like, look, I've been on some podcasts, people sort of know who I am, I know what's in there, I'm not an idiot, should I just go and do the advert? And they were like, yeah, alright, seems fine. Now, I don't know what's in this, I have not watched it yet, but my predictions are thus. 1, I am incredibly wooden. 2, I look dead behind the eyes. 3, all the jokes in there will greatly amuse me and nobody else. And 4, so yes, without further ado, this is my first ever video on WhatCulture Wrestling. Oh, and before I start, yes, I will be observing WWE house style by watching this behind me from the most natural angle imaginable. Thank you. Who's that jumping out the sky? Why, it's Adam, C-L-E-R-Y. I think that's how it's anyway, see, I'm very terrible. Sorry to interrupt your usual standard of complex cerebral wrestling insight. Oh, massive there they are, the boys. I do miss them. A very special announcement about our quarterly magazine. Wow. Wrestling. As is tradition now, it comes with a choice of. Rein that enthusiasm in, Adam. First of all, what was that? Oh, we've left an outtake in. I can't. Oh! First of all, there's WCPW. Fun fact about me, I can't touch dry foam. It genuinely makes me boke, it makes me feel sick. Like, this room is covered in padding, which is dry foam, and it genuinely, I have to steel myself before I come into it. If you ever watch any videos I do, and you see the microphone, if you look right close, you'll notice I haven't got the little foam head on it, because it makes me feel sick. Anyway. Heavyweight champion and human monster truck. Oh, there's Drew. Available in Battleship Grey. Oh! But as well as that, this is good. Hang on. At WrestleMania weekend, we have a very, very limited run of NXT's latest arrival, Drew McIntyre. That's right. More of a... Do you know what this is about? We just come back. I can't believe I forgot about this. We just come back from Orlando, and this was the WrestleMania weekend where they re-signed Drew McIntyre, and he was our WCPW champion at the time, and he couldn't tell us. We did a show with him on the afternoon. We were like, "You coming out after the show, Drew?" And he was like, "Oh, I've got some stuff to do at Ring of Honor, but I'll maybe see you later." We were like, "Okay, sounds fun." And then we went to NXT that night, and he was in the crowd in the front row, and we were all just sat there like, oh no, because we'd literally just put him on the front cover of the magazine. He was our champion. He just re-signed. This was a huge problem for us. I'll get back to that. How you will choose, I do not know. But so the gag here is that Drew Galloway and Drew McIntyre are different people. Merch tables at all upcoming. Aren't I funny? Yeah. So that was my first ever video. We yeah, it came in the wake of us finding out that Drew was going back to WWE when he was our champion, and he was on the front cover of our magazines, and we were doing loads of videos about him. Hey, but look what he's got it done. First ever British heavyweight champion. So he made the right decision, even if it meant that I ended up having to do, wow, that's a point. If Drew hadn't gone back to WWE, I would never have had to film an emergency magazine advert. And if I hadn't done that, they probably wouldn't have realised that I could sort of present. And if that hadn't happened, the entire last few years of my life would be completely different. So, thanks, Drew. Owe you a beer.
So start off with a little bit of a backstory. My first actual appearance was this.
Next we have Connor from the... Who the f*** are you?
You got any change?
No, I f***ing haven't. Get the f*** out of here.
So yeah, Ross had found out that I'd had some wrestling training, and when I was wrestling, my character was Hobo Joe, and yeah, he decided to put me in WTF and basically beat me up for a while. So that built and built and built to the point where we had this like 24-hour live stream where like we got to a total of like $18,000 or $19,000 or something, and it was like really close to the end, and I just basically said, off the cuff, thinking it would never happen, that if we hit $20,000, I'll let Ross put me through a table. And then all of a sudden, loads and loads of bids came in, and I think we ended up making like $21,000 or something, and so Ross put me through a table. So all of those are kind of my first appearances, but my first actual full video was when Ross went on holiday and I had to take over WTF, so we built this up to this thing, and I'm just gonna watch it, and this is gonna be terrible. There we go. So yeah, it had built up to the point where he'd put me through the table and then I'd not been on the TV for a while, and this was like my big comeback, I guess. I forgot he put me through a table, off a ladder. God, that was so stupid. Why did I let him put me off a ladder? So yeah, I basically came back and fought back and shot him. This whole, the full length sequence of this was so long. I should say as well, I was so nervous going into this video. I'd done little bit parts and things on the channel before, but I'd never in my life done like a full video. And I was so nervous. And he's dead. Oh God, here we go.
It's me, everyone's favorite hobo. I did it. I shot King Ross. I did it for The Rock. Now I did it for me. And It felt great, and I'm gonna dance if it hadn't been for Hobo Joe. You must be here.
What am I doing?
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Hobo Joe? Hey, hey, hey.
Okay, that's not bad. I kind of enjoy that at least.
Dun 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 dun.
What am I doing? I edited this as well. It would put the whole thing together in a day. God, it's so short, this video as well. Oh, I look like I just do not belong there.
Bouncy, 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 bouncy. I like the Hardys music. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
Don't know if I was trying too hard or if it was
fantastic
okay.
teamwork from Seamus and
Oh God, I just look.
Unfortunately, Corey, that is not Seamus.
Like I have no idea what to do.
That is the myth. Michael Cole has got a really long tie. Michael Cole has got a really long tie.
I was just trying to be Ross at this point.
Got a really long tie. And so does
what was I
Booker T.
doing?
The king is dead. Where are all the Hobo Joe signs?
I did actually get some Hobo Joe signs, amazingly.
How much is that roaming in the window?
Oh God, what's happening now?
The one with the waggly tail. Woof, woof. How much is that roaming in the window?
My beard was so long then. Bloody hell.
That Roman's for sale. Well, he's not.
What was I doing there? What was that all about?
Hobo Joe's got a big issue with you. What can I say about the Bailey This Is Your Life segment?
Not good. It was a long time ago. Hopefully I've come a long way.
Now after they caught light. And that's it from WTF. I've been Hobo Joe.
Oh dear, there it is.
I am Hobo Joe.
I am Hobo Joe.
WhatCulture company that's given this little hobo
I didn't have a Twitter account before this.
WWE.
So I had to make something.
See you soon.
Oh dear, that was something. That was really bad. Anyway, luckily that only lasted a week, and then the week after that, Ross came back, and Primate from WCPW, who's now in NXT UK, came in, beat the absolute crap out of me. And spoiler alert, that hurt like hell. This is what my back looked like after that. My God, I actually get beaten up on this channel loads, like from the channel trailer to all of this. Don't know what that means.
Right, okay, so my first appearance on camera for WhatCulture Wrestling is a news video from the 26th of January 2018. It's titled WWE's WrestleMania 34 Plans for Braun Strowman Revealed. This would be about 3 months after I moved to Newcastle to work. Had no designs of ever being on camera in any capacity, really. But obviously, here we are now, 3.5 years later. Haven't watched this video since the day it was filmed, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty awful, so let's experience it together. Hold my hand, I'm very scared about this. I do miss our old introduction, though. It's nice. Okay, here's Adam Cleary. A good way to start with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Got it. Go straight down the camera lens. Other than that, got it, fine.
So what do I do?
Dread to think what kind of conversation the boss had with him before this. Please help this bald idiot through this terrible experience.
So just say, hi, I'm Andy. Other than that, you'll be fine.
Thanks, man. So is this thing rolling?
Yeah, it's already on.
Oh God, I'm trying to act.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Why am I
I'm
trying
Andy
to
from
act? It's a news
WhatCulture.com,
video.
And you might not know me yet, but I've been
I
writing
am
for
a
the
lot
website since
slimmer
July
here as well.
2016, and they finally
That's
turned me loose
quite
on camera.
depressing. You ever come
Now
face
that I'm
to
here,
face with the
let's do the
realization
thing.
of just
Now we've got
how
a
much you've let
spicy
yourself
rumor for you
go?
today surrounding
That's
two
what I'm experiencing right now.
WWE's biggest stars. Miz obviously
This is-
took the belt back
what am I
from
doing with
Roman
my
Reigns in
hands?
a
It's like a-
cracking match at Raw 25 this
being
week.
serenaded
But
by
while
a
competing
crowd,
for a
which I'm
second
sure I
belt
wasn't
might
being in the
seem like a
comment
demotion
section.
for at this week's
Just
Royal
keep
Rumble,
your hands
but we
still,
kind
you
of knew he
big-eared
wasn't going
moron.
to win, right? I mean, they've been building towards Reigns versus Lesnar for
This isn't
WrestleMania
good.
forever now, and while that's
It's really
probably
not
go
good,
over like
and,
a turd in a punch bowl, it's on the cards.
Whoever came up with this
Now,
video idea
Miz versus
needs
Strowman
this video,
probably won't
the
be
one I'm doing right
branded
now,
as a main event,
needs
but it
a
should
slap
be
in the
an
face with a
absolute
fish.
blinder. They're both great in the ring. And
The
they've got
Miz
so
versus
much
Braun
personality,
Strowman should
they
be
make
an
Roman Reigns
absolute
look like Steve
blinder. That's
Blackman.
a hell of a
Besides,
take,
who
2018,
wouldn't want
Andy.
to see Miz, so long as there's no attempted televised murder this time,
Televised
of course.
murder.
But what do you
When's
think?
the
Are
Miz
you
ever
excited for
attempted
Miz
televised
versus Braun,
murder?
Or would you rather see Strowman face somebody higher up the card? A universal title
I wouldn't
match,
mind if somebody
perhaps.
committed
Similarly,
televised murder
what
on
about
me
The Miz?
right about
Do
now.
you think there's a best?
That must have been about 1 minute of news video and 1 minute 40 of just fannying around trying to... What was... It's the worst day of my professional life. And I've had some pretty bad jobs in the past, so... Thanks, lads. Cheers.
So I think this is one of my first videos I ever shot for WhatCulture. I can't remember if it's exactly the first one because it was all a bit of a blur back then, but it is the WCPW Refuse to Lose 2017 full card rundown. I definitely shot stuff before this because I was backstage at Built to Destroy, but they told me the footage got corrupted. Either that or it was completely unusable because I didn't have a bloody clue what I was doing. You make your own minds up. But yeah, WCPW, I'm counting that, WCPW, WhatCulture Pro Wrestling, that counts as your first WhatCulture video. Before we even press play, what is that face I'm pulling, by the way? What's that? I mean, I look good. I don't look good. I look better than I look now. It's been a rough few years. But I realise that I'm already quite nervous because I'm yet another Adam at WhatCulture. But that is not helping matters. Anyway, let's see what I've got to say.
Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn here to tell...
What? Sorry, what's that? I realise I meant to just press play and go all the way through. But what's the face I pull within 1 second there? What's that? Quite early on in my days at WhatCulture, I was situated next to Chris Thompson in the office, and he just basically made me into a meme for the videos that I made for WhatCulture. There was one where I was interviewing someone outside in Manchester, I think, and then someone else just turned up and kicked the crap out of them. And I turned to Chris with this face like, what are we gonna do now? I was just thinking there, why am I presenting like this? I never do that. And I remember it's because the first take I did of that, I was flailing my arms around so much, gesticulating about all the matches we've got to come, that Chris went, we can't use this. It looks ridiculous and it's messing up the green screen. Just stand still. So instead of just standing still, what I did was clench my hands together so that they couldn't flail around like some sort of octopus in a washing machine. Anyway.
Tell you all about WCPW's final must-see.
Oh, there's the thing in my eye where people say like a bloody cyborg because the green reflected in my glasses.
In Newcastle upon Tyne, Refuse to Lose
WhatCulture
returns,
Extra,
featuring 4 title matches
thing.
of Stu Bennett
as
our
there
new
he is,
general
my
manager.
best friend
The
Stu Bennett.
hugely anticipated main event sees aerial assassin Will Ospreay challenging the prestigious one Joe Hendry for his
That's a headliner. Will Ospreay versus Joe Hendry for the world title.
Were planted the moment Ospreay turned down the invitation to join the Prestige at
Get
SAT.
in. Go on,
They
lads.
subsequently ruined the conclusion to the Pro Wrestling World Cup.
The
Ospreay has been
WCPW
gunning for
World Cup.
revenge
I remember
ever
that because I was
since.
stood
Can he
near
elevate
the
himself
ring,
to world
and when
champion?
Kushida beat Will
Will
Ospreay,
Hendry's
some
prestigious
lad walked
and
past me and flipped a
record-breaking
table
reign
because he was so
continue.
angry.
The world-renowned dynamic duo
Hey, the
of the
Young
Young
Bucks.
Bucks are set to
Who
collide
they
with the
facing?
seemingly unstoppable
War Machine!
WCPW Tag Team Champions, War Machine. There's
what they're
arguably no
both
more
up to
decorate
now.
team in wrestling
Look at that.
today than Nick
Rowan
and Matt Jackson,
Hansen.
but
Again,
they're going to have their
lovely
hands full
blokes.
with Rowan Hansen, who
Absolutely
called them out
bloody
recently
terrifying. We were on the
and
coach
are
with them
themselves
once.
striving
And I asked if I could
world
sit next to
domination.
Hansen in the
Two
chair
fan
that was
favourites go head to head.
empty.
Bailey put on
And
the
he told me
match
to
of the
piss
Pro
off. He was
Wrestling World
joking,
Cup with Will
but I
Ospreay
absolutely
and
would
never
have.
fails to
Tell you
excel.
what.
Also, don't forget to check out the
Wrestling industry
pre-show
got a
of
lot to
Refuse
thank
to Lose. It'll be
WCPW
live
for, don't
free
they?
right here. Partners into the
Oh,
mix.
yeah, they just put their
It's
misses
even
in the
more
match.
personal. It really is unmissable.
You
The
can
last
really
ever
tell that I'm reading
WCPW
this, can't
pay-per-view.
you?
I can't wait. Tickets are still available
I
via
can tell you're
WCPW,
absolutely
and
reading
of course,
that
the
off a
event will be streamed
teleprompter, Adam
live
Wilborn.
on WhatCulture Extra and Fight TV.
Yeah,
it's going to be a
WhatCulture
historic
Extra.
night. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Look at that. What a salesman. I realise now all I do is sort of shout gimmicks and stuff, but I think I'd rather do that than be the most generic presenter ever, clasping his hands together so he doesn't start doing this. That wasn't too bad, you know. Probably wasn't my first video, was it? If we actually looked at the Built to Destroy stuff, there's probably a lot worse on there. Also remember my interview with War Machine, where I just looked like a twig in between two giant oaks, terrified, going, ah. So yeah, what's it like kicking the crap out of people? Oh, I miss WCPW Defiant Wrestling.
Hello everyone, Perennial Egg Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and before we start today's absolute train wreck of a video, I just want to say one thing. Thank you each and every one of the people that have subscribed to this channel and helped us hit the 2 million subscriber mark. Without you guys, we literally wouldn't be here. So thank you so much for the love and support that you've shown the channel over the years. You massive, massive ledges. Now, as a treat, I'm going to react to my very first video here on the wrestling channel. It was from the Insane Things Happening in Wrestling format. May it forever rest in peace, in hell, because it was an absolute trash fire of a show, and I loved each and every second of it. I wish I could bring it back. Just want to do the skits. I just love doing the skits. It was skits with wrestling attached to it, rather than the other way around. Anyway, right, I'm hitting play. Phil, for the record. Now.
What up, guys? It's your big, bold, bad boy Jules here yet again. Now, if you've watched some of my previous content on the gaming, domain, or the
people
comic
pointed
book
out
channel,
that it made my head
you'll
look like a
know
pill.
two things about
It's
me.
quite long to
One,
begin with, mate.
I love to swear, and two, I ain't all there, which kind of
Not
makes
good look.
sense. Well, they've given me
Dr.
this
Mario
new
was
show,
chasing
which
me
I'm
around, just
told
like, get
I
in my
now
game.
love right now.
Here's a little,
every
like,
week, I'm gonna
inside
give
the
you
egg
my
fact for you.
mental breakdown of all the oddities
You ever seen me with my
and stuff
sleeves
that makes
rolled
you
up?
rage,
It's because I'm nervous.
and hopefully we won't go
Just a
mad
little-
together. Something just clicked. What's breaking now? With this in mind, I'm Jules from WhatCulture.com, and these
Of the studio
are
that we
most
recorded
insane
stuff in,
things
it was just
happening in
constantly
wrestling
breaking. There's
right
like
now.
props left all
So
over the
let's have a
place,
laugh, because
toenail
after all, it's
clippings on the
just
floor.
entertainment. Don't get mad.
I forgot that this was the first song we used. It's so annoying. That's abysmal.
Now, back in
I'm so glad that we
2015,
cut that
Stephanie
music.
McMahon in it for
Oh,
the
this is the
cash.
Stephanie
And this
McMahon
was exemplified
philanthropy
recently on Raw
statement.
and
Yeah,
SmackDown
pretty
when
dirty.
Dana Warrior, aka the widow of the Warrior himself, became the spokesperson for their
You can
breast
tell that I
cancer
don't have a
campaign.
script here.
Now, that is
They basically were just like,
weird in
here's what
itself,
Sidgwick has
but
written,
it does get
adapt
very
it,
murky when
get
you
in there,
realise what the
do your
Warrior had to
best.
say
I'm
about
just that,
Bobby
like,
Heenan
little
and his
boy,
battle
just
with
like-
throat cancer. I'm going to read out to you, and this is the thing, like, cancer is no joke. Like, I'm not going to make a joke about it.
And I'm still not going to
I've
make a
had
joke
people
about
in
it.
my life, like, you know, family members and friends who have unfortunately died from it, and I'm sure you don't have to look far in your lives to find where it's, you know, affected people you
Imagine
love
that. It's
at
my
one point or
first
another. But I am
episode
gonna
of
read
this.
out, so
And I'm there
apologies
just
if it
thinking,
does get
oh,
a
it's
bit
going to be
graphic.
like, you
This
know,
is from The
insane things
Warrior,
happening
by the
in.
way.
And I've got to talk about
And it's a-
Bobby
it's a
Heenan's
bit of
throat
a
cancer as
thing
my
to
first
say.
story.
You are dying. Disease
Woof.
on the inside, and no more time is left to get back any of the integrity that matters
What a
the most
grim
on
quote.
death's bed.
What?
Imagine what it will be like, lying there taking your last breaths, knowing you hoard yourself out your
You
whole
can
life.
see me.
and
I'm just
had
reading
to,
this,
in
just
your
going
final
like,
years, be faced with emptying
watching my
your own
life just
personal
flash before my
shit bag,
eyes, because it's
affirming
just
to you
like,
the
this is
true
it.
value
This is
of
what I'm going to forever be
achieved in
known
your
as, the
life.
man who's
Not
reading
convinced to
death
come up with a
comments
better
off of his
finish
phone.
than this. I mean, I really don't know what to say about that other than f***ing Christ. Wank himself off dry and say, oh, there's so much potential for spots. Now, don't get me wrong, I love spots.
Shane
I love
McMahon,
crazy moments
if there's
in
one
wrestling,
thing he
that's
loves more
why
than
I
throwing
watch it.
terrible
What I
worked
have
punches,
here is that
it is big
kills
spots.
any sort of, when are you going to jump off something and scream to yourself, I'm the best? That's what you think you are,
Mate,
isn't it, mate?
I called it.
See
I
you.
called it best in the world. 2017. What I love about this, right, is this video is 9 minutes 46 long, right? And I bet you anything that the first raw clip that I gave to Phil was probably about 32 to 35 minutes, because the amount of times that I have to restart stuff. This is before I learned, oh yeah, you can just cut around stuff. I was just like, it has to be right first time, so just keep rambling until you get there.
Marty Jannetty is a weird guy.
Yeah, he is. He wanted to sleep with what? His adoptive daughter, wasn't it?
Turns out that Marty Jannetty
is this what this is like?
Is a weird guy, as you've probably just heard, because he basically has outed himself as being the worst type of sexual predator, aka ones that aren't me. Because basically on Twitter, he wrote this to his fans. Here we go. Am I morally free to have sex with the young girl I was only aware isn't my biological offspring a few days ago?
What a quote from Marty Jannetty. Rocker's trying to get his cockers off with his own family. Just scanning ahead. This is before we did anything to do with the giraffe.
Versus the undisputed era. And adding another team into that.
The giraffes were where this series took off.
Oh boy, this is going
despite
to be
what everyone will say.
Spicy.
It was when we were just there like,
chaos and
I'll tell you how the giraffe thing actually started while we're watching this. While we're watching me prattle on
everybody's favorite
about Jinder Mahal. I asked Phil, I was like, I need something to tie into this gimmick, because I've said something here that is so tangential to what we're talking about. It needs to like link in somehow, and it just won't. And he was just like, well, I've made this graphic about the giraffe, and I was like,
and that means that
okay. And then we just made it work. It literally was a case of he had already pre-made an asset of a giraffe. Don't ask why. That's just what he does. The amount of times that I sat next to him in the office, he's just typing away, and I'm just like, what are you working on? And he's just kind of like, you know, I just want to see if I can make this guy's head explode into fire and then have his name pop out of his stump. Like, just weird stuff. You just get used to it after a while. So he'd already made that. And we retroactively made it work by fitting it back into the thing. So therefore, as much as I'd love to take credit for it, it's actually Phil's invention. He didn't get the cut of the merch though.
I know you look like my dad, but I'm taking you to school. And that's the insane things that went
Do you hear my
on
voice
this week in the
break at the end there?
WWE?
Because I got a bit nervous that somehow, somewhere, Paul would have heard me and come hammering him through the wall like the Kool-Aid man and just laid me out.
Do another one next week. Might do one now. I'll just call this one Jules Closes Out Shows.
Oh, wow. Definitely have worked on trying to get my exit to a video a little bit more smooth than this.
That's the most important thing to get out of this.
All right. Are you done, mate? Just go.
See you soon.
Just go. I can see what the audience hated. Oh, he's back again.
Big shout out to Michael Sidgwick, who basically wrote the original article that I based this on. So
I didn't basically write the original article, mate. He did all the work for you. And then you basically bastardised his words.
Right here. Also, follow Phil Chambers, because he's the one editing this. Hello, Phil, mate. Nice beard. Anyway, catch you guys later. Bye. Spicy.
And that was my first video. Appalling. Cheers. Okay, are we done now, Phil? Are we done? That was awful. I feel now that I want to go and sit in a cold bath of ice, because that was just deeply upsetting. Right, see you later, guys. Thanks for the 2 million subscribers.